Love lives here.
All right, beloved. So today we are talking about a return to wholeness, and wholeness is the theme for our talk today. But before we get into the return to wholeness, how about we say our focus statement, shall we? And let's say our focus statement with all the W's for wholeness, even though it's a silent W. All right, so what? Wellness, wow, wackiness, wonder, wild, wisdom, whisper, within, wise. All right, here we go. You ready? We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. Yes, 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 yes. All right, so we had some more folks joining us. And so good morning to Vicki and Marty. Good morning to Patricia. And hello, Ted, again. Great. It's great to see you joining us this morning. Yeah, sounds good. All right, so hi. So this year at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, we are working with the theme of Live Your Best Life. And we are currently in our series, we're about midway point in our series here, of living into the vision. And as I mentioned, we are talking about a return to wholeness today. We have had the opportunity over the past few weeks to look at our incompletions, yes, those things that we've left incomplete. We've had an opportunity to look at some of our hidden beliefs last week, and an opportunity to release those things that no longer serve, to begin to shift our beliefs from outdated, outmoded ways of thinking, ways of believing, and stepping into something new and embracing something new by getting those other things done that have been kind of in our way, those things that have been hanging over our heads, or they keep moving from today's to-do list to tomorrow's, to next week's, to next month's, and they're still there a year later. We've had the opportunity to look at some of those as well, yes? So as we've been talking about, with vision, when we're living into the vision, what do we have the opportunity to do? We have the opportunity to release, and we have the opportunity to embrace. So we've been talking a lot about releasing because really, we are whole, right? We are whole, we are perfect, we are complete. There is nothing that we need to add to ourselves that would make us any more spiritual than what we are right now. You're already a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in a human form. Notice how I say that? I'm not saying you're a spiritual being having a human experience. No, no, no. You are a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in human form. Just like the tree outside is a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in the form of that gorgeous tree. Right? Okay. That really there is all one and it's all whole. Right? Yes. Okay. We're traveling together so far, so good. So, when we recognize our wholeness, when we come from that place, when we recognize that spirit is all there is only one life, there is only one love, there's only this one substance, there's only this one source of all, this one energy, then what we know is that everything, absolutely everything is included in that. There can be nothing outside of the wholeness that is the all. Everything must be included in that because there is how many? One. There's not two. So everything is included in the one because there's nothing else for anything to be made of than the one. We clear on the one? All right. So nothing can be outside of that one. Yet, when we look at these incompletions, or when we look at these hidden beliefs that we've established so early in childhood, perhaps, we get a sense that there is some kind of separation, that we feel separate from one another, or perhaps what we've started doing is we've started separating pieces and parts of ourselves from the whole. We start denying parts of ourselves. We start disowning parts of ourselves. And why do we disown or deny parts of ourselves? It's rooted with the shadow belief that we talked about. Oh, this event happened. This is what I made it mean about me. So, in order to get my needs met, in order to feel loved, in order to get approval, I need to behave in a certain way, and by behaving in a certain way or doing a certain thing, I'm making a choice not to behave in another way, not to do something else, and then I begin to disown it, right? So if you were growing up and somebody said, why are you always like just lounging around the house? Go outside and play. You're so lazy. You're so lazy. You heard lazy is not a good thing. I'm not getting my needs met. I'm being told that that's a bad thing. I'm interpreting it that I'm bad, so I need to do something else so that I'm not lazy. Okay. I disown being lazy. I disown that part of me that is lazy because I'm focusing my self-worth, our self-worth is tied to external validation. One of the biggest hidden beliefs that we have is that we are unworthy, that somehow we're unworthy. And these hidden beliefs and these disowned qualities support that, and so we look for external validation of who we are, our value, our worth, our lovability. We're looking outside of ourselves for these things, and we try to fill ourselves with these things. So I'm going to reject laziness, and I'm going to overcompensate by being an overachiever. Right? I'm going to overcompensate by being an overachiever because, oh no, I don't want to be lazy. Ooh, that's a bad thing. Call me lazy. Right? So I overcompensate by becoming an overachiever because that is, that's what's valued. So I'm disowning parts of myself in order to fit in order to be accepted, in order to be loved. I'm letting go and I'm shutting down parts of myself, and then I'm trying to overcompensate for it in another way. But beloveds, when we accept and celebrate our wholeness, then we can step into a greater sense of our vision. So what does that mean for us? What that means is, yes, we let go of the things that no longer serve us, but we also have the opportunity to talk about embrace. Embrace those things, welcome them in, reintegrate them, bring them back in, because they already are part of us. But when we stop separating ourselves from them and we bring them back in and we wrap our arms around it, and we begin to realize that, oh yeah, that is part of me too, then we can own that part of ourselves, and we can find the gift that that provides, and then we can own it outright. How's this resonating so far? Resonating okay? You're not all triggered and saying, oh no, oh no? Because when we own those pieces, we're no longer willing to trade pieces and parts of ourselves for love, validation, and approval. So, we have the opportunity to reclaim our wholeness, to remove the obstacles, so we can recognize it and express more of it. So these disowned qualities that we're talking about here, right? These disowned qualities. What's an easy way to find one of your disowned qualities? Somebody pushes that button. Woo! Right? All of a sudden you're triggered. Somebody does something. It might be a behavior. It just might be a way of being. But man, they push that button. Not only are they pushing on it, they are like tapping on it. They're dancing on it. Woo! Doing the Irish jig to it, right? Pushing that button. And we go, and we have a tendency when we see that and go, oh, that person is such and such. That person is, oh, they are so irritating. They're so annoying. They're so irresponsible. That person is so lazy. Oh, they're lazy. Right? And we start to get in the spin. Or they do something and we don't recognize as like, man, I hate liars. That was a bald-faced lie they just told. I hate liars. Well, people who lie are what? Liars. Yeah. People who lie, one of the qualities might be, people who lie are manipulative. People who lie are sneaky. People who lie have something to hide. Ooh. Or people who are lazy. They're so selfish. They don't even think about anybody else. They're just being selfish. They're just lounging around. They don't care that I've got a stack of dishes to do and all these other things that are on my plate. They're just off having a good time being lazy, laying there taking a nap. This is not my relationship, by the way, at all. If anything, I'm the one laying on the sofa. He's the one doing the dishes. But you see how we can identify the behaviors, or we can also identify the quality, but there's something that really gets triggered within us. Well, there is the phrase, you spot it, you got it. Oh, crud. That means if you are pointing it out in somebody else, you're seeing it in somebody else, well, guess what? You got it too. You are that too. So if lazy is just working your last nerve, well, guess what? That is a disowned quality that you have that you're like, no, I'm an overachiever. Right? I'm an overachiever. I am not lazy. I get stuff done. What we kind of get tricked into is we kind of get tricked into it by saying, I'm not lazy because I don't lay on the sofa all day long. Well, that's a behavior. But the quality? No, you're not lazy. You don't lay on the sofa all day long. Perhaps your laziness shows up at work scrolling through Facebook for 3 hours. Or perhaps your laziness is just sitting there and binge watching NCIS. You're not sleeping, you're not napping, but you're binge watching something, right? So how your laziness shows up might not be the same behavior, but it's quick to say, oh, I'm not lazy because I don't lay on the sofa, right? Make sense? So the trick here, the idea here is to recognize how your laziness shows up for yourself, how that quality shows up for you. Because remember, if everything is whole, there's only one, then all of the qualities that we assign, good or bad or indifferent, are all part of the whole. They're all part of you as the one, you as the microcosm of the macrocosm. What we assign good or bad is our own judgments, because really the quality is more neutral, right? Lazy, we've assigned negative attachments to it. We have negative attachments to it. Having free time, on the other hand, is a beautiful thing. But is that not the same thing? Possibly. Or taking care of yourself, taking care of your needs, getting rest is a good thing. But we can also call that lazy, right? So if we look at the quality, and then we begin to look at what is the gift of how I show up, what is the gift in that quality? So let's just go with laziness, right? What is the gift in the laziness? The gift for me in the laziness is I'm letting my brain rest. I'm letting my body rest. I'm choosing rest. I'm choosing rejuvenation. I'm choosing relaxation over having to be busy all the time. But my laziness looks different than somebody else's laziness. But when we then realize what the gift or the benefit of that laziness is, then we have the opportunity to really embrace that quality. We have the opportunity to say yes. It's like, you know what? Yeah, I am lazy. I can be lazy. My laziness doesn't look like your laziness, but I can be lazy. And then if somebody says, Jeff, you're lazy, I'm like, yeah, I am. Totally own it. And notice what happens. Nobody's pushing a button anymore. The button's not getting pushed. I'm not getting riled. I'm not getting upset. I'm not resisting the quality because, as you know, what we resist does what? It persists. So the more we resist, the more we continue to disown the quality that we aren't liking about ourselves, the more we disown it, the more it stays. So think about it as though your body, all of your chest were covered with electrical outlets or USB ports, whatever works for you, right? And you know how there's the child protectors that have the little plastic covers that, cover the electrical outlets? Most of you, I'm seeing yes. Jesse and Alex, you'll see these soon. Right? So when you own a quality, when you own something, when you own an aspect of yourself, those little child protectors are there in the sockets, so nothing can plug into them, right? I can't stick anything into the socket. I can't plug anything into the socket because the child protector's on there, right? Those disowned qualities that we have, that not only are they open and available for service, there's like a beacon, like whoop, 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 right? Plug in here, right? Like a power strip even, right? Plug it in. So then we get triggered by that. And so then we're all plugged in and we're charged and we're supercharged and there's a lot of energy behind it. So when we begin owning them, we begin disconnecting the plugs, we begin disconnecting the charge, and we begin putting those little caps on it. And then we can step forward and own that part. Own it. Then we have a choice. We can use that to our advantage. You know what? Today, I'm going to be in sloth mode. I have 3 t-shirts that say that to remind me to stop, slow down, and on my days off, I wear my sloth mode t-shirts because that is a reminder for me to be in sloth mode, to take care of me, because it's very easy to, all right, well, let me just check email. all right, I'll just respond to this one thing. I really need to get this done. I'll just take care of this real fast. And then all of a sudden, my day off, poof, gone. Or my day with Ed, poof, gone. Because I didn't unplug. Because I didn't take care of me. So, all right, I enter into sloth mode. And then I'm unapologetic in sloth mode. I don't apologize for being lazy. I don't apologize for an unanswered email. I don't apologize for a missed phone call. I don't apologize for any of it. I'm in sloth mode. I'm taking care of me. Now, other people might say, oh, Jeff, you're being lazy. No, and yes. Yes, I'm being lazy, but yes, my laziness, the way I'm choosing to express it, because I can own laziness now, the way I'm choosing to express it is I'm choosing to express it as self-care. I'm choosing to express it as rest. I'm consciously choosing it at this particular time in my day or this particular day of my week. And then there's power in it. So any of y'all can call me lazy, and I'm like, yeah, cool. Do it. Not going to push any buttons here, right? So another way of you finding your button is if your name were blasted across the LA Times or the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, and the headline said, Trisha is blank. What would send you through the roof? What would be like, oh, hell no. Do not even go there. Do not play me, right? I am not that. So think about that for a second. Insert your own name rather than Trisha's. Good morning, Trisha. Insert your own name. Your name is... Got it? Got that word? Kind of feels yucky? Kind of feel a little irritated already? Like, ugh, no. Trying to deny it? All right, so we got the word. So what is the behavior? What are the people? Who are the people that are that word? What are the behaviors? What are the behaviors you don't like for the people that are that word? Got it? Now, what are your behaviors around that word? How does that show up for you? Oh, I can be when I got how you can be those things? Be that thing? All right. So now, what is the gift? What is the benefit of being that thing? What is your benefit? What is your payoff of being that thing? What's the positive aspect of that? When does being that thing serve you in your life? Because there are times when being that thing is absolutely in service. Now, see if you can say to yourself, I am that thing. And in this case, we are not affirming it. I don't want people freaking out because we hear affirmations are, I am joy, I am beauty, I am love. Those are all positive things. And now I'm saying, I am lazy. Right? But I'm not affirming it in a way of making it real. What I'm doing is I'm naming it. And when I name it like that, then I recognize it and, okay, I've named it. Now that I've named it, I know I can work with it. Now that I've named it, I know that I can reintegrate this aspect of me that is taking care of me in this particular way, or that is serving me in this particular way. So yeah, I'm lazy. Because remember too, it's not the word as it is the energy. When we're speaking treatment, when we're doing our affirmations, what is the energy behind it? What is the belief behind it? That's what the universe is responding to. So if I'm just claiming, I'm lazy, it's just like saying, all right, it's neutral. It's charge neutral. It's having no real causative effect other than for me to name it so that I can embrace it, so that I can own it. It's about releasing the resistance and embracing the wholeness. We do that by simply naming it. So see if you can name it yourself, for yourself. I am lazy. I am stupid. I am angry. I am irritating. I am a pain in the rear end. I am. The more you work with this, the more the charge is reduced. Put your little covers on, and then when somebody says, you're lazy, you're a jerk, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, you're right. I am. I don't. Okay. Bizarre, right? And at the same time, liberating, freeing. Because when we do this, we reclaim our wholeness. We return to the wholeness. We are no longer separating any parts of ourselves. We're no longer separating that quality that we've disowned. We're no longer separating that. So when we're no longer separating that, then we're bringing ourselves back into the whole. And what happens when we bring ourselves back into the whole? Our self-esteem goes up. Our self-worth goes up because we're no longer worried about, like, I'm not trying to please Dinah. I'm not trying to make a difference. I'm not trying to please her. I'm not trying to behave in a different way so that I can have friends or that I can be loved. I don't need to be anything but who I am. And when you own the wholeness, when we own the wholeness, the entirety of our being, then what happens is we have a greater possibility, a greater potentiality of walking into our highest vision, of stepping forward because we have released and now we are embracing. We are coming back to ourselves. We're releasing the separation and coming back to wholeness. Letting go of discord and returning to harmony. Breathe it in. Are you ready to feel free? You ready to feel whole? Yeah, maybe. Let's try this again. Are you ready to be free? Are you ready to feel whole? Are you ready to return to your wholeness? Yes. All right. So let's stand and let's have the practitioners stand and surround the sanctuary. Our core council members joining them. Practitioners and core councils. Yes. All right. All right, so I invite us to close our eyes and come together in consciousness here and now, recognizing that there just is this one power, one presence, one infinite, eternal whole that is the all in all, that is in all, through all, as all. There is nothing outside of this allness. There is nothing outside of this oneness. There is not two, there is only one. In the beginning, one, always one, never two. And from itself, through itself, as itself, it created all of life, all of creation. The universe is the manifest body of this one life. Everything in the universe is an expression, is a spiritual being having a spiritual experience as form. Whether it's formed or formless, visible or invisible, it is still one present whole. It is all-encompassing. It is omnipresent, meaning everywhere present. So I know that this one is the very who of who I am. It is the essence of my being. It is the totality of my being. There is not a piece of me, there is not a part of me that is separate from or could ever be apart from this one life, this one love, this one presence, this one power. It is absolutely impossible. The totality of who I am is this one in form. And as I know that this is true of me, I know that this is true of everyone gathered here this day. Each one is the one, inseparable from it. And we are inseparable from each other because what's happening? There's only one happening. It's expressing in multiplicity. It's expressing in diversity. It's expressing gloriously and magnificently. But all is included in the one. All is included in the one. And so I speak my word here and now for this beloved community, recognizing our oneness, recognizing our unity, recognizing our wholeness, our perfection just as we are. And so we call back all those pieces that we have disclaimed, all those pieces that we have disowned, all those pieces and bits of ourselves that we have said no to, that we have tried to deny, that we have tried to separate ourselves from. We call them all back in, for them to be revealed, for them to be reclaimed, for them to be reintegrated into our being, because we are approaching this from the high consciousness of love, the high consciousness of peace, the high consciousness of harmony, the high consciousness of wholeness. And so we call them back in and we say yes. And we take ownership. We have dominion over all the bits and pieces that we are, recognizing that each is an integral part, a necessary part of the integrity of who we are, of what we are. Spiritual beings having spiritual experiences in human form. And when wholeness is recognized, then that is when healing takes place. When wholeness is embraced, healing is embraced. When wholeness is embraced, a return to the perfection, a return to the knowing and the demonstration, the manifestation of perfection, of completion is embraced, comes into fruition, is made manifest. And so I give thanks for this now. I give thanks for the wholeness, the allness, the fullness, the joyfulness, the magnificence that simply is all, through all, as all, whole, perfect, and complete. I release this now into the law, knowing it is done, knowing it is so. I let it be, and so it